And here we go, we are back. This week we're hitting Rolly Romero versus Teofimo Lopez. A fight that I like very much, a fight that has a lot of intrigue. It is skill against power, against ruggedness, and against sheer aggression. This is a belter. Let's go through the tale of the tapes. Rolly Romero, 30 years old, 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. Teofimo Lopez, only a year younger at 29, also 5'8" and a 6.5-inch reach. Both men fighting out the orthodox stance. And it's funny when you say there's only a year between these two guys, because for me, Teofimo feels a lot more of a veteran, a lot more aged in the game, and a lot more high-level experience. Now, both of these guys are fantastic, you know what I mean? I really like Rolly Romero. I know there are a few question marks around him, but I like what he brings. He got that big win against Ryan Garcia. He lost to Isaac Cruz, which could be the closest, because I think Lopez will do well fighting that Cruz style, you know, on the front foot, bringing the pressure, getting on the inside, and just trying to beat Romero up. And obviously the other loss Romero had was against Tank Davis. I think, so the first round's ended there. I'll tell you what I think in a minute. I think that was a very close round. Teofimo Lopez taking it by 2 points, 2-point lead heading into the second. I think Teo might be a little bit too rough and a bit too mean for Rolly Romero in this one, as a good shot lands there from Teofimo Lopez, just as I was saying it. But Rolly Romero, he's very skilled, and if he can turn it into a chess match, that's where he will do his best work. I truly believe that. Teofimo Lopez is no stranger to the big dance. Obviously fought Shakur Stevenson in his last fight, didn't quite get the job done. He beat Barbosa before that, and he's had, obviously, the Josh Taylor win was a very good one. He also had the win against Vasily Lomachenko, the one that really kick-started his career. And, you know, I just think he's used to this high level. He's not going to be bamboozled in there. And, you know, I think he will find a way. Obviously, I think Shakur Stevenson may have laid down the blueprint on how to beat Teofimo with the movement, with the skill. But not many people can do what Shakur Stevenson does as that round comes to an end. We'll see what the scorecards are. I think that was a Rolly Romero round there. A lot of forward pressure from him. He got a 10-7 and a 10-8. So Rolly Romero gets that round by just 1 point, leaving it a 1-point fight as we head into the third. But yeah, we have the world title will be on the line for this one. And this will be Rolly Romero's first defence of that title, and what a way to defend it. You know, Rolly, he's been saying he's up for the big fights, and he is proving it right here. Now, obviously, he gets a win in this, and it puts him in a great spot to fight the winner of Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn. Either Conor Benn for the first time, or that rematch against Ryan Garcia, which, you know, Rolly done a bit of a job on here. He outboxed him that day, but I think the sparring type environment of the Times Square card really played into Rolly Romero's favour. So it'd be interesting to see how that fight would go in a proper arena in front of a proper crowd. Like, I like the concept, but the atmosphere just weren't there, and I do feel Ryan is a fighter who thrives off that sort of stuff. But we are coming to the end of this round. I've got to say, I think that's another Rolly round there. Good fight this so far. Close fight. Close fight. I think Rolly's won it, but not by a lot. 10-7 and 2 10-8. So that gives him a 6-point lead heading into the fourth. But elsewhere on the card that day, Gary Anthony Gary Antonio Russell will be out on that card. From the great Russell family, it will be terrific to see him fighting on that day. Looking forward to that one. I always like seeing the Russell boys fight, and they always put on a good show. I think this is more just to get him out there, but he is fighting a tricky southpaw. I don't know too much about the guy, but there'll definitely be problems potentially for him in that one, but he should get the job done. Also, the Cuban Yanil Hernandez will be on that card as well, so it'll be good to get a look at him and see what he's all about, because I'm not too familiar with him. He's currently 10-0. He has a great amateur background. He's held that OVA World Championship that they've been doing, so it'll be great to see him out there as this round comes to an end. Possibly another Rolly round there, so Rolly starting to bank some rounds. 2 10-7s, Teo gets a 10-8, so further increasing that lead. It's now at 10 points. It's now at the point where Teo will look to be winning more than a round. He's won a round before. He needs to win a round by 10-7 and win the round after that to get in front. So real good stuff from Rolly Romero starting out here. You know, Teo looked good in the first round, but since then Rolly's really started to turn it around. Also over here in the UK that weekend, we have George Lillard, and he will be taking on Dario Morello. Morello, he fought Luther Clay on the Sam Egginson undercard and came up short that night, but he has a real nice record of 26, and that is the only loss he's had, the one against Luther Clay. So, and Luther Clay obviously went on to lose to Chris Congo, so it gives you an idea of the level. Lillard should come through, but it'll be a great win for him to get against an opponent with a really good record. So it's a good fight. It's been moved to the Copper Box, originally scheduled for the York Hall. There's been some issues there, so he's had to move over to the Copper Box, but the fight's still on, and that's all that matters. As another round goes by, and I believe another round for Rolly Romero, we will wait for the scores to come in and see what they say. Oh, a 10-7 for Theo, a 10-8 for Rolly, and a 10-7 for Rolly. So we are now down to an 8-point fight. Very close, very close. Good work from both men. And good work over on the C64 Instagram page if you've been checking it out. A lot of big things happening as Teofimo Lopez scores a knockdown there. That could be it. Rolly is down. Little slow to his feet. And Teo right there can carry on applying the pressure. I don't know whether to carry on with what I was saying or wait and see if we get another knockdown. But yeah, a lot of big things happening with C64 Sims in general. We have signed a bunch of fighters. A lot of these going on to cards as a good shot lands from Teofimo Lopez. Across the UK, we're bringing over the best from Ireland. We're signing fighters in the UK as well, and we're doing big things. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has followed and supported C64 Sims. Really couldn't have done it without you. And it's a crazy journey going from, you know, just doing predictions. My first upload was me purely taking pictures of what happened in the simulation. So to be at where it's at now and doing the numbers that it's doing and signing fighters and being in contact with some of the biggest unlicensed promotions in the UK is truly mind-boggling from where we started. And it's mind-boggling because there was a knockdown in that round, but all three judges giving it to Rolly Romero. So we now have a 12-point fight despite the knockdown by Teofimo Lopez. And then next week on the predictor, another good shot landed by Teo. Teo's really starting to land some powerful shots, and Rolly is now backing up, which is a signal that he might have been hurt there. But next week on the predictor, we have an absolute doozy. Moses Atalma versus Filip Hrgovic. This one I am so excited for. It is going to be an absolute belter. Good undercard, we've got Notes versus Berenchek, that's going to be a great fight. Yumbi versus Mike Perez, that's going to be a good fight. Christian Yurzu, he's out, that's going to be a good fight. And a big knockdown by Rolly Romero. I was wondering if he had the power, and he has. That's going to turn this fight on its head. A fight that Rolly is already up on the judges' scorecards, and now he's got the tide of the fight turned in his favour. So great work by Rolly Romero this round. We've also got Moses Jolly on that card. So going to be a real good card next week on Pro Predictions right here on C64 Sims. I'm also going to be putting out some footage of my fighters. Be sure to check that out as that round comes to an end. And just like the last round, they've given that round to Teo despite him being knocked down. The judges are wild, and Teofimo Lopez is exhausted, and Rolly Romero has a broken rib. What will hold longer? That is the question. I tend to think Teofimo Lopez will do more work to that rib and force the doctor's stoppage. A good shot there, and that was to the body. I'm surprised we're still going. There was a wobble from Rolly. Perfect time for the doctor to jump in, but he hasn't. He might be being a bit lenient. The judges can be lenient on this. They can be very strict. Not the judges, the referee when it comes to injuries. But will Teofimo's gas tank hold up? We are in the 8th. This fight has really come to life right here. And we only have 8 points in it. It's really close. It's really close. That's one good round. 1 10-second round across the board, which is easy to get on here. You can get it even if you've been knocked down. And he has been knocked down. Good shot by Rolly Romero. This is really, like, it's coming to the climax, because I don't think this fight is going to last much longer one way or another. Is it going to be a doctor's stoppage, or is Rolly going to put him down again and he just doesn't have the energy to get back up? But both men look like they're going to see this round out. Another good shot by Teo there as well. So obviously in real boxing that would obviously be a 10-8 round for Rolly Romero, but with the predictor the judges can be a bit funky. But that will all be revealed in mere moments as we get the judges' scorecards. See, 10-8 and 2 10-7s. This fight is right back in the balance. It is all square as we enter the 9th. Again, Teofimo Lopez is still exhausted. Rolly Romero still has a broken rib. Which way is it going to go? And I do think that this fight is going to be very much like this. You know, I really do think it's going to be a case of the aggression of Teofimo Lopez as the doctor, the referee, has stepped in. We could see a doctor's stoppage right here. The referee stops the fight due to injury. Rolly is bent over in pain. The broken rib has caught up with him, but that is your C64 prediction. Teofimo Lopez by doctor's stoppage. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. We're going to see the scores. It was very close. In fact, they were drawing on the cards as it finished. Thank you for watching.